So àwọn aṣọ yẹn, àwọn aṣọ ẹ bá mi tò wọ́n sínú wardrobe so that box yẹn wò mí box ní pẹ́ kàn máa kó sí corner. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ wo gbogbo àwọn oògùn kankan. So àwọn bàtà kẹ́ tò síbẹ̀ yẹn, àwọn box kẹ́ gbé sí corner, àwọn aṣọ kẹ́ kó síbẹ̀ yẹn. Hello guys, guess what guys? I brought you good tidings. You guys know that I always bring good news for you guys. I brought you good news today. Good news. So there's someone, it's a professor in a university in Canada. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon from Calgary.
Well done, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm good and well.
Please, sir, I would like you to introduce yourself to everyone, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, let me say thank you for this your graciousness to host this live session. Thank you very much. So I'm Dr. Kinsley Vazahiro, and although I'm Canadian now for many years, but I'm originally from Nigeria, all right? And by way of career, I'm a neuroscience researcher at the University of Calgary, so where I do neuroscience research, and I mentor postdocs, PhDs, students, and stuff like that. But what we're here for today is what I do as a way to help people, you know, and that is, I am the face of DROK Edu Consult, or Instagram Info Sessions with Kinsley. And we are an educational consulting and strategic firm in Calgary. We're located in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. And what we do is that we help people, you know, just work alongside them to get them school admissions, and then also just settle them immigration-wise in Canada. So,
sir, before we go on, I would like you to tell people your name, and so that they will know that they can actually Google, on Google, tell them which school you work with, so they can tell them your full name and the school you work with. Okay,
so my name is Kinsley Ivazahiro, Dr. Kinsley Ivazahiro, you know, and I do my neuroscience research at the University of Calgary in Alberta, Canada. So if you just search for me on Google, Dr. Kinsley Ivazahiro, you know, you find my profile there. It's there. That's who I am, and that's what I do research wise. Okay.
Okay, guys, don't worry. I'm going to put his name once this live video is off. That's why I'm going to be fast. I don't want the live video to be too long, so that it will. I didn't want to post, but Mr. Kinsley begged me, and I realized that okay, this is a very good opportunity because I got to realize who he truly is. So I'm going to put his name, and when I post this stuff. So, sir, what makes you different from any other educational consultant?
Okay, thank you very much, Tony. Thank you for that question. So, what makes us different? Two distinct things makes us different. The first thing is that I am in the educational sector. So, in Canada, I understand the educational sector. I understand what is needed to get students into different schools and different programs in Canada. You know, that's one of the big things that distinguishes us. So I'm not just like somebody at in an office doing stuff. No, I am in the educational sector. I interact with these professors. I interact with these heads of departments. I understand what is needed, what they are looking for to, you know, to get students into programs. I also understand what it takes for students to succeed academically. I also understand what are the current trends, the best fit programs, you know, for those who want to come and study in Canada. The second thing that makes us very distinct is that before we make any application for any student, we sit down with that student in a consultation session. And the purpose is to understand what are your long-term goals. So we don't just make applications because it's an application to make. No, we understand what your long-term goals are. We understand what you want to achieve career-wise. We understand what are the current occupations, careers that have got long-term prospects in Canada. We understand all these things. And based on all this knowledge, we advise clients, students, which is the best program to study. Now, for those who are looking at master's program, PhD programs, we also take into consideration very strongly what their academic and career progression has been. Let me explain this. Let me explain this. For example, somebody studied geology, graduated like 8 years ago from university. Now, because of work situation, this person has been working in the bank for the past 7 years. Now, ordinarily, when the person wants to come and do a master's in Canada, the first thought that comes to the person's mind is, I want to do geology. But the way it goes when it comes to school applications, getting your study visas, and settling into Canada, is that that person does not have what we call academic progression for geology. The person has a career progression for banking and finance programs. So we sit down holistically, look at the whole picture, and advise the person. Sometimes there are people who have children and don't want to come and study. So we sit down, we put the family into the picture, we look at the program that is best for this person, looking at the long-term career prospects, and then how the family fits into the picture, and we can advise accordingly and say, this is the best program, for you to study, looking at your entire picture. So some of the things that makes us very distinct from other persons.
So what is the easiest route? What's the easiest route to move to Canada in 2022?
Right now, I would say when you say easiest, which means no roadblocks, no obstacles, is the study route. And let me explain that because there are other routes too. But let me explain why the study route is the no roadblock, no obstacle route to moving to Canada. With the study route, what you need or what we do, we get you school admission. We get your school admission. We also get your study visas, and you're here in Canada. You see, more than 99% of students, international students, end up being Canadian citizens. So when you get your school admission, you get your study visa, honestly, in this guys, you've gotten your Canadian citizenship because you will end up on that path to Canadian citizenship. Now, that is the easiest route. There are other routes like the federal skilled workers, the express entry, and those kind of routes. There are other routes like that, But you see, those routes, they have limitations. Those routes, They have different limitations, and those routes, for example, age is a factor in those routes. Age is a factor in those routes. And as the person is getting older, the person can no longer get the visas, So study for now is the easiest route to move to Canada as we speak.
What are the cost implications? Because you are just saying route. I hope it's not expensive, sir.
Okay, so when we say cost implications, of course, study has got tuition associated with it. There are tuition fees associated with studying, But what we do is that when we sit down with these different clients in a consultation session, what we do is to, first of all, look at the client's budget. In addition to look at the best programs and other things that are best for this client, look at the client's budget, and then ask which school, which program fits this budget, So depending on the programs that the person is interested in, tuition can range anywhere from, $10,000, $11,000, and above per year, But something that is also very important to note, is that as an international student, you actually have the leverage, to work. You have the leverage to study and to also work part-time. And that can also greatly help you with your fees associated with your tuition and upkeep in Canada.
You did say, well, you did not mention price, so that.
Oh, I mentioned the range, of course.
How much?
I said tuition can range anywhere from 10,000, and above per year.
10,000 what? Is it naira
Canadian
or dollar?
dollars? 10,000 Canadian dollars.
What's Canadian dollar to Nigerian naira now?
So if you think about it, there are two. There's the official rate, there's the parallel rate, right? The official rate is about 330 naira to a Canadian dollar. And actually, what I normally encourage students is that when you get to school admission, when you get to school admission, go
10,000.
to your bank,
Wow. That's
you
3
know,
million.
yeah, go to your bank,
Was
you know,
even
get a Form A, you know, because through the, when you go to the banks in Nigeria, if you want to pay tuition with a Form A, they can give you the fill at the official rate. It's what I normally encourage people to do. Go to your bank, get a Form A so you can get the official rate, because the black market rate is far higher than that, you know, so you don't want to pay
okay.
just so much money, right? So I normally encourage students to just do that.
So, Daddy, is it advisable for both partners and children if to move into Canada together or separately?
No, so normally it depends on the holistic picture of that family. And let me explain this. Now let's take the first scenario. So first scenario one, for example, you know, a couple, let's say two children, that's four of them. Now, one of the things that we look at, one of the things that we advise when you're looking at, you know, making school applications and stuff like that, getting your study visas, because this is not concerning study visas, is what are your proof of funds? Do you have sufficient funds to cover for your tuition and upkeep? Do you have sufficient ties to your home country? So for couples that have very strong proof of funds, they can show sufficient funds to cover for their tuition, upkeep, for the entire family, for the duration of study, and they have very strong ties to their home country, like very strong ties. They've got families in their home country, they've got properties, they've got investment, they've got lands, they've got businesses, they've got volunteer ties. Now for such couple, and they have maybe also have good travel history, it is possible for such couples to apply at the same time and everybody comes together. But for persons who don't have this strong proof of funds and they don't have this strong proof of ties, then normally it's advisable that the principal applicant, who is the student, should come first. And when that person is here, after one semester, you know, he can get to invite his family, his spouse, and his children to come and join him. Because Canada is very big on reunification, on family reunification. They're very big on that. You know, so that is one strategy that has worked for a lot of our clients and is still working for them.
So, sir, what is the visa process like?
Okay.
And I want you to answer these two questions together. What is the visa process like? And what are there chances of visa denial? Then if they deny someone visa, what can the person do to avert it?
Yes. Okay, so the visa process. Okay, so now this is how the process works. You know, so first of all, you get your school admission, right? You get your school admission, and then the next stage after school admission is to pay your tuition deposit. So most schools in Canada, they want you to pay a tuition deposit. Now, tuition deposit will range anywhere from $250 to maybe $2,000, $5,000. Let's assume that is done. The next stage is the visas, right? Now, there are a couple of things before you go to make a visa application that you must put in place. One, you must have sufficient funds. You must demonstrate sufficient funds to the visa officer in form of a bank statement or any other financial documents to show that you have sufficient funds. Now, if it's not you, the principal applicant, who will be paying for your funds, you can get a sponsor, a family member, you know, somebody can be your sponsor. Now, please note that when you are using a sponsor, you know, the sponsor have to write a sponsorship letter of sponsorship for you, and also the sponsor also have to show proof of relationship. You know, that is important. And then again, you're also going to indicate in your study plan, there's a document called study plan for visa application. You're going to write a very good study plan also, indicating, you know, who you are, what your background is, you know, why you're choosing this school, this program, what your proof of funds are, what strong ties you have to your home country, what your plans after graduation are, you know. So you're going to get all these documents, your financial documents and everything, and then you're going to make a visa application. Now, visa application, study visa application takes anywhere from, I mean, I've seen a range of them. I've seen the one that took 1 month. I've seen the one that took 6 months. So it takes anywhere from, you know, 4 weeks to 6 months, you know, and then you make a good visa application. Now, when you submit your application, the way the Canadian thing goes is that you submit your application. There are no interviews. You go, you submit your applications, and then the visa officer reviews your file. And then based on the evidences you have provided in your visa application, Then they take a decision. Now, at the point you know it's going favorable for you, is when they ask you to do a medical. At that point, you know that it's going very favorably for you. They ask you to go do a medical. And most times, after you do your medicals, within 2 to 3 weeks, your visas are approved. Is there a chance of visa denial? Yes, there is a chance for visa denial. There are chances for visa denial. You know, if the applicant does not show sufficient proof of funds, because more than 90% of visa denials hinges on 2 very important factors. The applicant does not show sufficient proof of funds. The applicant does not show sufficient proof of ties. Those are where 90% of visa refusal stands on. So those are the 2 things we always tell clients. Make sure that you cover these 2 areas very strongly. So if somebody is denied a visa, what should the person do? The first thing the person should do, get what they call a GCMS note. Get your GCMS note. A GCMS note tells you the precise reasons why the visa was denied. When people are denied visa, they just give them like a generic note. But your GCMS note, which you can get, will tell the exact reason. And then when you get your GCMS note, address those issues that were raised in the GCMS note point by point. When you address them, you are almost likely to get your visa when you reapply again. You know, so that is what we normally advise when people are denied visa. Get your GCMS notes, address the issue raised in the GCMS notes, and then make your study visa reapplication.
Okay, sir. I don't want the live video to be too long, because if it's too long, a lot of people will not watch it on my page.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is, sir, I spoke to you, I got to know you, and I Googled about you. I see that you're genuine. And I'm sure a lot of people, they're going to send you message. I have, Daddy, our daddy, but Daddy, I'll drag you. Oh, God forbid, you're my father. So you are gonna send me your name, your number, your Instagram, and so I'll put it on this video. So I want to cut the video now so I can put it on my page.
Okay. So I will just, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a WhatsApp message now. So guys, trust me, it's genuine. It works with
University of Calgary.
That you have to say Calvary International Bible. So it works with Calgary, University of Calgary. You can Google his name. I'm going to put his name, put his number, put his Instagram handle. And like he said, the school fees varies from $10,000 upward. But remember that 10,000 Canadian dollars is like 300 and something. So if you say $10,000, that's like 3 point something million. And as a student, what he's trying to say, if you get visa, you have opportunity. Once you start schooling, only on a stay, that means you can get your stay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you can even work. You can work also as a student.
And you can work as well. Trust me, he's a genuine person. But I'm going to put his information. So don't let anybody come and meet you in the DM that is from Dr. Kingsley. No, I'm going to put all his information on my caption. Please, guys, all his information. Don't let anybody send you DM. You'll be the one to send him DM. I'm going to put his number too. Please and please. And make sure you Google him. Be sure too. I am 100% sure about him. This is his face. He's an elderly man. And are you a professor or a doctor? Doctor.
I'm doctor, yeah, Dr. Kingsley.
He's a doctor at University of Calgary. You can Google the school. You see his name there. So he's well known. So he's not someone, he's a respected person. He has dignity. I actually took my time also, guys. And I make sure before I bring him live on my page, because I know some people. So trust me, guys, there's nothing. But obviously, you know how visa works sometimes. You might be denying visa. Like it said, once you are denied, you talk to them. They know what to do about it. Please, guys, I love you. And I'm going to put his information in my caption. Let nobody send you DM. Be the one to send DM directly. Please. I love you guys. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah.